Hello and welcome back to Chasing Trophies. What a week we had in the Champions League. It was round of 16 tie, and we had some incredible games. We had some one-sided games. We'll start off with Real Madrid versus Manchester City. It was one-sided. Real Madrid scoring. It could have gone any way. I thought it might have been a more high-scoring kind of game, but they scored 3 goals. Man City obviously not scoring a goal. Fez joining me. Fez, did you enjoy the Champions League first of all?
Yeah, I mean, a few matches, not the Arsenal one. I was so pissed off at the Arsenal one. We'll get to that for sure. But the Man City game, man, I think Man City, they don't look like the past, man. This is not a team that's won three-peat. This is not Pep Guardiola. This doesn't look like, last year they were complaining that they didn't have Rodri. This year they have everything and they've got more on top of that. And they're still not being clinical. You have Erling Haaland over there. You've got Semenyo over there. You've got Doku was injured. You got him. So I don't know what the exact issue right now is happening for City. They're just not clinical in the final third. The passes, they're not able to create for Haaland. They're not able to create for themselves. Let it be Doku or Semenyo. Rodri has not been clinical with those pass throughs. So there's been a very big problem there. Donnarumma gave away the first goal. You could say. I mean, he could have put up in left hand to stop Valverde's run, but he just let him pass. I think it was a momentary lapse of concentration, whatever you want to call it. But apart from that, like Valverde is sensational. The way he kept popping up in attacking positions, which they didn't actually expect City, right? Because he plays more defensive mid kind of thing or a right back. Usually doesn't look in that final third, but the way they set up against City, Valverde became the key man for them. The way he scored the second finish and the third finish, top notch finish, man. The last goal was
Yeah, I mean, Man City, last time they were missing Rodri. This time they're missing Kevin De Bruyne. Like you mentioned, they're not
yeah.
finding that killer pass. They're not finding that pass in the final third. He was the guy who would
Yeah.
pick that out. And that is someone that they'll have to replace, in the future, because otherwise it'll become difficult for them going
And that
forward.
is where they already, like you could say, invested Masaba. Like they got Cherky, they've got Foden, they've got Bernardo as this amount of experience, but it just doesn't look like this
Don't
team
have a
wants to.
Kevin De Bruyne. That's the
They don't have a
problem.
Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, yeah, I
like
mean,
I
it
mean,
just looks
like they
very
have
all over the place.
invested 100%, but you can clearly see, like you mentioned, they have that problem. They cannot pick that final pass, and he was the
Yeah.
one who would pick the final pass. Last year, they needed someone a bit in defensive midfield. That guy was injured, so they're not. They're buying a lot of players and everything, but the particular player that Pep Guardiola needs or wants is missing. In this season, and it is strange. I think Man City have invested a lot. They have Semenyo there. They have Ryan Cherky. They've got a lot of players. What's
Ed
his name?
Nouri, they got Ed
Uh,
Nouri, they've got
Aid Nouri is there. Doku is also there. But yeah, like you mentioned, that guy in midfield, that guy who can pick a pass, who can
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
for sure.
creativity, who can release the likes of Foden and Cherky.
Hmm.
That's what they're probably missing. And I'm
Or they need like Rodri to play like a Yaya Toure, like start attacking
yeah.
more, like taking a shot from far, taking a shot from distance. Because there is no creative instinct right now defensively. No, but there's always been a threat. Still, they had Nico Riley, who unfortunately got injured, but they still invested there as well. They got Ait Nouri, they have Kustanov, they've got Ruben Diaz, and when you have Donnarumma in the back, you would not expect them to concede three. But
He
all
saved the
the
penalty,
goals.
by the way. Others should have
He
been
saved a
four.
penalty. Yeah, very poor penalty from Vinicius. Vinicius had a poor game, but apart from that, Madrid is not like Madrid of the past. मतलब हम लोग भी देख रहे लीग में कैसा slip up करे, right? Like they've not been that great. They've had issues in their dressing room. They've had issues between Mbappe and the whole Xabi Alonso thing and the Vinicius Junior and the way they slipped in the league. So they've had their own issues, and this is the time to capitalize for Man City. But I think credit obviously Madrid in Champions League. It's a different story. But some of the finishes that Valverde did, the second goal with the left foot, brilliant finish with Vinicius assist, and the last goal, man, I don't know how he got it over the defender and he finished that. I was two tall people and like Valverde just amazing finish.
Yeah, and before I get to the other games, there's two teams I want to talk about because they keep asking us, is Manchester United in the Champions League? Who are they playing in the Champions League? Chelsea fans and Liverpool fans. And I was so happy yesterday the way PSG slapped up Chelsea when they destroyed them. I think to a certain point, Chelsea were in the game. while it
Yes.
was 2-2. But then Kvaratskhelia, man, I've been rating this guy last 2 years. Is my favorite player.
Right.
Like he's
Right.
unbelievable, man. Since the Napoli days, and now he's just
Yeah.
taken on to another level. Brilliant goals from him as well. The composure. What's his name? Barcola as well in the beginning.
Barcola.
He scored as well. All of
Yeah.
them. Dembele scored. Usman Balandio. They took Chelsea to school. It's like, you keep them in the game just to keep them happy because they're your guests, and then bang,
Mhm.
3 goals and it's done.
Yeah, I think if you look at the first 30 minutes of Sava, it was still on par. I would say post that, it was all PSG. Like you mentioned, Barcola, what a finish, man. Like near post left, उखाड़ दिया net like crazy mara left foot से बेहतरीन finish. Post that, Chelsea came back with a very good goal. I think very good find. Mala Gusto को जो ढूंढा, I think it was Enzo Fernandez, if I'm not mistaken, who found him with that cross and very good finish. I mean, it hit the keeper. You could say the finish wasn't that great, but right back है चलो ठीक है. And they had a good plan that they would sit back and wait for the counter Chelsea from the wings and attack, play a cross in ball. At times you saw, Joao Pedro को भी एक chance मिला जो Pedro Neto create करा. Pedro Neto I think was very good in the first half an hour or first half. The way he was cut back, that cut back thing was very good for them. They got a couple of chances of that. I think Enzo also finished one of those. But the second goal that Chelsea got, I think it was gifted by PSG. If you look at that, they tried to cross pass, change the half जो बोलते हैं ना, switch बोल के from right to left. उसमें ball miss करके फिर अब Neto steals it away and then he gets the cutback, whatever it is. So PSG sort of allowed Chelsea back into the game, but then again, Henson, a blunder, what he did, just gave away the ball. Short pass खेलने गया, Barcola steal करा, Warrets के लिए ले लिया. So Chelsea, like you would say, self-destructed themselves, or thought too ahead. They weren't in the moment. They got very carried away by what was happening around them. Maybe a lack of experience, you could say, in defensive. Maybe there's no leadership there right now, what we've been saying. You have Enzo, you have characters, you have World Cup winners, you have Reach, but again, they just don't look like, some John Terry kind, Drogba, like strong figures in that dressing room.
It
Everyone
was.
is everyone's sort of doing what they want to do about their business, and I think that is what Chelsea really needs to look at. And yeah, I mean, then from there, when you got Vitina's tap was crazy. Like they stole the ball, but the way he finished it, I think I enjoyed that. And then obviously your favorite player Kvaratskhelia getting another 2 goals at the end of it.
Yeah,
Brilliant
I
from
mean,
PSG.
it was amazing to see Chelsea lose. I enjoyed every bit of that game. And
Yeah,
PSG, that's the thing, they turn it on when it comes on to these big stages. They didn't have a good season as
yeah,
well. They've had their struggles, they've had their problems. Also, I feel the English Premier League teams, and when you compare to, like, now look, Bayern, they won 6-1.
uh, uh,
Barcelona, okay, fine, it was 1-1 over there. Real Madrid won 3-0. These players, their fixtures are more well thought out. Bayern Munich played on Friday,
yeah.
and PSG didn't have to play against Nantes. They had a
That
game,
is, yeah,
and
yeah,
they took rest. They said that no, we can delay the fixture. Whereas the Premier League teams, they're playing FA Cup. Saturday night, Sunday night, you got Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle happening. You got all these matches happening,
mm,
and they look much more tired. There's a lack of planning there, and we see that every single year. The Premier League is the best league. The group stages, they do well. Then they come into the knockouts and they just, they look tired. Look at the Arsenal Leverkusen game as well.
yeah,
Arsenal are lucky
yeah.
to get that point. Like
Right,
Leverkusen,
that was not a penalty for me, man. Like I didn't see any. I don't know
yeah,
which.
yeah.
Like it
I
was
didn't
pissed
think
me
it was a
off, man. Like
penalty.
I was very
Yeah,
pissed off at that penalty because Bayern Leverkusen outplayed them. Like they
yeah,
played
they
very
out
well.
exactly. And you see, every English team got outplayed. The only team who actually did well was Newcastle, right? But
Newcastle.
even
Oh,
even they got kind of outplayed. Like, but it's just that they didn't. But they hit them on the counter, and they had some very good chances. Newcastle were the best team. Apart from that, they got outplayed. Like Arsenal got outplayed. Liverpool against Galatasaray. Oh my God, man, that game as well. Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
atmosphere was unbelievable.
unbelievable.
So
Yeah.
it's that problem. You can see fatigue starts to set in. They play too much, probably football, and the scheduling is such that they have to play back-to-back games. It becomes difficult for these Premier League teams, and then they get outclassed by Spanish,
Yeah, that's
Italian,
what
French teams.
Premier League and like English teams have to look at, take a note from what these guys are doing, right? Like if you look at Spanish players, they're also playing La Liga, they play Copa del Rey, they play Champions League. German teams play what is that, POKBL, the domestic German Cup. Then they play the Bundesliga. Then you have the small Super Copa, the Super Cup. These things also happening. So every team, but I think English teams, they probably play the most games, man. Like they play FA Cup, like you said, Carabao Cup, and they all the big teams have to invest in that because then that gives exposure to your domestic setup somewhere down the line, right? So if that's probably the logic behind it. Warna, like we also as United fan, when we were in the Champions League or when we were where we were, we also used to get exhausted and stuff. So I agree, like something has to happen from the English FA. Like they need to come up with some strategy to ensure like ek to injuries nahi hona itna, and then you need nowadays you need such a bench strength that you at least can take two teams out to two different cups, and that again will with the financial fair play thing. That also very dodgy business, but a lot of these factors really make you think like what how can you sort of streamline these things.
Yeah, and Tottenham Hotspur was another English team that had a nightmare, man. The goalkeeper, Kinky, Crinkly, he, man, this
Kings,
guy
yeah,
got subbed off after the third goal. Two of the goals, the first two goals were his mistakes, and these are schoolboy errors. These are mistakes that me and
yes,
you make
yeah, yeah,
on the schoolyard,
yeah,
right? This
yeah,
is
yeah.
like we haven't seen this
On the
in
hours around the field also you could say we make these
yeah,
mistakes.
like we do these kind of mistakes, and but like to see it on TV on a football match, you're like, man, I sympathize with the guy, but it's crazy the way Tottenham just got destroyed, man. They still managed two goals. I don't know how, but Atletico pounded them in the first 15 minutes. The whole tie was done in the first 15 minutes itself.
Yeah, Atletico again, Musaba, like their setup, man. We saw that against Barcelona and the Copa del Rey, right? Like the pace that they have, man, right now with Lookman, Griezmann, Simeone, then they're just looking like a force right now. And it's like when it's coming to you, it's like a wave of water and कैसा कहाँ से कौन आके घुस जा रहे, कट इन कर ले रहे, cut backs कर ले रहे, हर चीज कर रहे. And with Tottenham right now, we weren't expecting anything great. They had a good run in the Champions League, ठीक है, but the
But to be
roadmap was
honest,
also
the first three goals, they didn't need to do any cutbacks. They didn't
and
need to
these
put any
cutbacks.
pressure.
Yeah, that was
Just put,
unfortunate. Yeah,
they
and
just
that
took
again
it.
goes to show you why would Tudor, play some novice guy who has no idea about these kind of. It's obviously you're going to feel the nerves in a knockout. You're putting him in a round of 16 match in Champions League, you're taking him down, and he's saying his reaction to that is like, no, I just felt. But you have Vicario, who is your number one keeper. I don't think any manager in the right full mind would always back the number one keeper unless the other guy has been doing sensational, like he's been ripping it apart somewhere, maybe in some domestic cup or something. But Tottenham right now, the first 11 is barely getting any goals. The first 11 is barely making any noise, and to go and play Kingsley, it done Kingsley. What logic does that dictate? Just because you felt something, like I'm pretty sure Tottenham fans were also like pissed off with that because हम बहुत रेयर ये चीज देखते हैं कि हाँ देर आर सम स्टोरी जो हम बोल सकते हैं कि भाई यंग बॉय आया फाड़ दिया एकदम से चैंपियंस लीग नाइट वो वन ऑफ होता है बट जब आप एटलेटिको मैड्रिड जैसी टीम के साथ खेलने वाले हो तो थोड़ा तो आप सोच विचार लाइक करके आओगे.
Yeah, I'm sure if you ask Simeone down the line after he retires, what was the easiest game you ever played, he'll say this game, man. Like, there's no doubt
Yeah,
about it. And yeah, Atletico, like you said, they're scoring goals recently against Barcelona. They scored four, they scored five here. So
yeah.
they're playing a bit more attacking. They're playing the high press and everything. But this was pretty much gifted to them. A very easy victory. Then we had Bordeaux Glimt,
Yeah.
the team of the Champions League, man, winning 3-0 against Sporting. They're playing some outstanding football. It's so pretty to watch, and it's so effective. The guy who scored the last goal, Hugo, I don't know how to
Hodge,
pronounce his name.
yeah,
Huh?
Hog or Hodge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hog or Hugo.
yeah. Top
He
scorer,
always
right?
gets into the right areas. They try to pick him out. You see his run yesterday into the box. He knew exactly where he was. Their passing was really good. And man, beating Sporting 3-0. Sporting, by the way, qualified automatically into
Automatically,
the
yeah.
Champions League, like into the round of 16. So crazy stuff from Bordeaux Glimt.
Yeah, unfortunate penalty for Sporting Lisbon. I think like I don't know like who touch दिखा नहीं मुझे. Again, like we've been looking at VAR and stuff, and these mistakes have been persistent. And uh, I don't know. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe there was a touch or something. But when I saw it, it didn't look like a penalty to me. So that sort of broke the momentum. On top of that, then they managed to get a very good goal in the immediate first half. में दो goal हो गए थे, तो थोड़ा tie उनके favor में हो गया था. But like you said, their mindset is shifting to more confidence per game, Asaba, and that shows you that this team will be difficult, like for Arsenal also, right? When Arsenal face them, if they do, this is the
Yeah,
second leg.
man. Bro, this is the
Arsenal,
best
if they
team.
sit back against Bordeaux Glimt, Bordeaux
Yeah.
Glimt plays very good on the wings, and they'll cross and they'll do exactly what Arsenal wants to do from corners. They're not, back in the day, jo Arsenal to Mustafa, Theo
Yeah.
Walcott crosses, and they'll always a big center striker in the middle or something who gets the header. So ये दिन आप देखोगे Bordeaux Glimt could like be a very tough game considering how Arsenal even played against Leverkusen.
Yeah, man, and like a Voodoo glimpse, like you're right. They play this expansive kind of football. If they're going to look to attack, they'll try to exploit the wings as well. I'm
Yeah,
so really enjoying the way they're playing football. This is the story of the
okay,
Champions League already. Like if
okay.
you see from the group stages till now, the way they're playing, they're winning 3-0. The fans are going
Yeah,
crazy. Nobody knew who they are, and now they're like Voodoo glimpse. Everyone's talking about them. I think they'll definitely play unless Sporting do something in Portugal that we're not aware of. I think they'll
yeah.
definitely be in the next round as well, and they'll give it whoever is there a tough fight. It's like that Ajax kind of run. You remember in
Run,
2018,
yeah,
2019?
20. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
Hakimi and these
that,
guys were there.
yeah, at that time, yeah, was it
Hakimi,
Delict
what
and
Ziyech, Team Ziyech, and these guys.
Ziyech,
Sorry,
Delict, and all of
Hakimi,
them? Yeah, they were there. It's that kind of season, I think,
vibes.
for Bodo
Yeah,
Glimt. Then Bayern Munich, man, they smashed the living lights of Atlanta. Atlanta got one consolation goal towards the
yeah,
end, but Olise getting a couple of goals. Musiala also scoring. But he's so good, man. I really like that
yeah,
guy, man. Musiala is such a good player. He's dancing with the ball. He's like floating on the pitch, and yeah,
yeah.
very convincing from Bayern Munich.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, when you see Musiala, like the career that he's had, he's been amazing. But it's just that injuries have been like holding him back for so long, like back to back years now. Injuries are okay. But like you said, by this is a player, this is a player that City might want to approach. जो आपको गोल भी ला के दो बना के भी देगा मार के भी देगा and probably but the only thing is like his injury record isn't that good. I only say like he never doubted himself like the way he was since Crystal Palace like crazy खेलता था the way he got the transfer to Bayern, he's been sensational on the left wing. Bhai, jo banger goals marta bhai ye banda. He's got an amazing left foot. Top of that, they've got one of the best strikers in the world right now, Harry Kane. The Bayern again, they always get you to this part of the league. They'll wave through this league. It's that main semi-final part where they come and just sort of you could say choke. At times, they sort of don't rise to the occasion. They've been defensively solid as well. They've been dominant in the league. Luis Diaz is a very good addition that they've got, right? Like, say, from Liverpool, he's also been amazing for them. So this team right now looks everything. But also, let's not forget, in a big game against Arsenal, they did slip. So they probably remember that as well. But yeah, against Atlanta, it's been amazing the way they
Yeah, man,
crazy.
he was like skating, Olise. Like it was like he was ice skating. Like he was so smooth. They were dominating. Whether it was the flanks, whether it was in midfield, Bayern Munich, they had all the possession
Yeah,
as well.
possession. Yeah,
Atlanta
yeah.
had nothing. I thought it would be a much closer game. I thought Bayern will win, but it'll be a much closer game. But it was
Mm.
very, very one-sided. And defensively as well, except for that mistake towards the end. Where that goal, they shouldn't have conceded the goal. It's like the last few minutes, and you let them counter
Yeah.
like that. But otherwise, defensively as well, they've been pretty strong in the midfield. They've been commanding. You saw in the game
Yeah.
as well. There wasn't a time where Bayern Munich weren't in control of the game.
Yeah, 100%. I think they've had a keeper issue that they have to probably sort out. They've got injuries for both the keepers, I think now. Bayern and Neuer's already been injured, and their backup was also now injured. So maybe they'll have to look at something that, if I'm not mistaken, it's Sky Bayern ka injured, Sachin. So I think that is one area that they'll probably want to look ahead quickly.
Yeah, and then
Then,
Newcastle versus Barcelona. That was a wild game, man. It was
yeah,
0-0 till the second half, and then Harvey Barnes scored, and then you got last second, man. Last second, they didn't really need to do much, Newcastle, but Tia puts a leg in. And they get a penalty. Barcelona and Lamine Yamal converts it. Otherwise, it would have been a historic night at St James's Park. Nonetheless, a very good effort from Newcastle. Barcelona had a lot of possession, but couldn't create as much. And yeah, it was a good game of football.
Bhai, incredible atmosphere, Mustafa. Bhai. Like the minute, like when the commentators, when they present something like with the Champions League night, उधर से वाइब शुरू हो गए थे यार सेंट जेम्स पार्क में. Like इतना मजा आ रहा था देखने में मैच. The crowd, the emotions that the cameramen were catching, like how passionate you could see Newcastle fans are, and that is exactly जो मजा आया देखने में मैच में. And it was end to end. What I loved about Newcastle is they didn't hold back. They stepped up to the plate. Joe Linton, man, this guy is a gangster, bro. Like he's throwing
Hmm.
punches left, right, center. ऐसा बीच में खड़े के बहुत अच्छा player है. Very smart with his tackles. He knows कौन से time पे क्या करना, कैसा पाँव डाले तो कहाँ पे foul नहीं मिलता. Apart from that, again, I think Lewis Hall, what a player, man. I hope we try to get this guy, man. Lewis Hall. He is so good. From the crossing positions ले लो आप, defensive positions ले लो आप. He will run through the day for you On top of that, Ilanga, I think, had a very good first half. The way he was on the counter, like they've got pace on the counter. I think Sondra Tonali played a very good game. He kept coming in the box, creating an element of threat alongside Dan Burn. So I think Newcastle, the one thing that they didn't get overwhelmed that they're playing Barcelona. Last time also when these two teams met, it was a good game. I think Rashford got goals in that game. But this time around, they Barcelona didn't get a lot of opportunities, a lot of open play opportunities. जितना आप expect करोगे. I think Lewandowski just had one chance in the whole game and then he got subbed off. So I think Newcastle को तो बहुत credit करना पड़ेगा. You could say that yeah, the last minute Thiago का वो चुप पाँव डाला उन्हें. Like he could have just stood and not commit. बिना commit करे खाली आप ball guard कर लेते तो शायद आप निकाल लेते थे match. But these are those little bit of moments that go along when commit. When you go to Barcelona.
Yeah, they will learn from that. And these two players, man, Gordon and Barnes, they are like killing it in the Champions League. They're like the MVPs of the Champions League right now. If you're gonna make a Champions League team of the year, I would definitely put them in. I think again they showed the pace that Gordon has, the runs that Barnes is making as well. The link-up play between the two is sensational. We don't see it as much in the Premier League this time around, but in the Champions League, they're just showing a different level, man. It's like they're prepared, they're ready for this kind of tournament, and whether it's Barcelona or whoever it is, they're looking to take the attack. Even against PSG, they were so good when they came off.
With Premier League, so like so much physicality in the Premier League that you barely get any room to do anything. But with the Champions League and a team like Barcelona, they play highlights. So their whole counter-attacking pace helps them a lot. And that pushes Barca back. That opens more space for Newcastle, right? And that is where you see the quality. Like you said, Ilanga, he likes to run at the players, like run at one-on-one, aake kaat raha, kar raha, slight 1-2 khel liya. And Barnes has an amazing shot on him as well. We've seen some banger goals from him also in the past. So this is where when they get time, when they get like a little bit more place than usual, then you see like, "Arey bhai, itna kai ko crazy khel rahe." It's like, bhai, they have good pace, and Newcastle is a very good team. It's just they're not, like you said, clicking. They could have also again they have they can exploit many tactics. They can put in Voltomade, have crosses thrown at him. They could have normal running at the defenders, trying to make a goal on the run. वाले जैसे आप अगर इलांगा को छोड़ दिए, 1-on-1 मार लेता उन्हें आप So they've got a lot of variety in Newcastle. It's just like थोड़ा time है. They've also got Vissa who's there. So they can be a solid team. Of देखना what they managed to do in Camp Nou, obviously, or like in Barcelona. It'll be a difficult game. It'll be more daunting. There'll be less home advantage. So yeah, I think this was a good wait. Probably if they could have just gotten the victory, maybe.
Yeah, I think Barcelona, what they have to do is they need to be a bit more useful. When they have that ball, they have to be a bit more clinical with their finishes. They need to put a bit more pressure, because what's going to happen is they might play an Italian team or an English team in the semi-final, and then on the counter they're going to get hit. So that is where they need to realize, like, you have possession, no problem at all, but defensively there's also frailties in that Barcelona team.
Yeah, भाई मतलब frailties तो आपको cover हो जा रहे because of one guy. Like Kubarsi played well, but Juan Garcia, man, this is such an amazing goalkeeper, bro. Like उन्हें लीग में कितने saves कर दिया, चैंपियंस लीग में कितनी बार उनको बचा चुका, कल भी absolute 2-3 goal उन्हें रोका है यार. Like he has been sensational in this Barcelona team. I think after like while Barcelona fans probably are very happy with the goalkeeper, Victor Valdez, तो आपको भी मालूम very well, like people didn't like, and then Pinto, कौन था वो, the other guy with the braids, he wasn't that good. And then they had a good run with Ter Stegen, but then Ter Stegen wasn't the way. Chesney was still decent for them, but this guy is a proper rock in the bag, one-on-one stops and दो भाई coming in the collecting the deliveries, crosses पे बहुत proper keeper है. कल भी आप देखा, I think Dan Burn किसका टुनाली का header था वो रोका, फिर Kubarsi का कुछ हुआ था वहां पे रोका. Like he's been very good for them, and Barca should make use of that. अब वही है कि हाई लाइन आप जितना खेलोगे उतना तो आप obviously there'll be a threat of getting countered, like you said, against English teams and Italian teams.
Yeah, because even I remember that Espanyol game, it was Garcia who's the one who saved them. He was commanding the box. They had like 10-15 chances in the last 10 minutes, and he was the one. But the thing is, how much are you going to depend on the goalkeeper? That is the problem when you're playing against the bigger. I think you can depend a lot on Courtois is an example of that. But but the way Barcelona play, they have to understand that, fine, we have those issues, but let's attack and let's score the goals. They need to outscore the opposition. That's how they're going to win. the
That is
Champions
what
League.
even Arsenal need to think, man. I'm still pissed off about Arsenal,
Arsenal
man.
don't
Like,
play like that, right? Like Arsenal just play
yeah,
very defensively.
I'm
They,
so
yeah,
pissed off at that only.
I don't know if that I did not watch the show, but I was reading like on our WhatsApp groups and stuff that Thierry Henry had a statement about Arsenal, saying that um like I watched them play today, and if they're gonna play like this, corner and stuff, it might not work in the future. Like we used to attack and everything. I don't know if he actually said this or not, but from the article that I saw, it's apparently he was not happy with the way they're playing, and at the
I
same
mean,
time he
yeah,
said it's good that they're winning, but they need to be more expansive. But yeah, maybe
yeah.
there's
I'm
a bit
not
of
even
jealousy
sure. Like,
from
if he
Thierry
said
Henry
that,
because
yeah, yeah.
Martinelli is gonna get the same achievement as him, so he might just be a bit jealous. That's about
Yeah,
it.
I'm not sure about the article, like, but I think even if he said that, it came from like another time to total 90 football khelti the Arsenal, right? And we were not used to seeing Arsenal play this corner game and stuff like that. So I think for the fan, but again, they go, if it's effective, it works. I think any team would do it, Mustafa. Like, like any team would do it if it's effective in their play and it's getting them goals and achievements or victories rather. I think
Yeah.
any team would do that. I know it's not pleasing to the eye, but under Ten Hag also, we weren't playing the most prettiest football, but we still took that FA Cup, right? Like we still would take that FA Cup kind of a thing. Tha. So I think it's like if it's working for your team, then very good. If it's not, then like you don't care as long as you get the victory at the end of the day. I think the Arsenal fans would be happy and they're one step closer. Uh, but still, I don't know how it'll be at the Emirates. I mean, they'll probably be more better at the Emirates, but Leverkusen showed us that they are coming with a fight.
Yeah, the problem is that if they manage to lose, right? If they slip somewhere, then the reaction is going to be very, very crazy. That's the
Yeah,
problem when you play this kind of football, right?
yeah,
If it works out, it looks amazing. If you win the Champions League, Premier League, that's it. Like he's going to be on a different pedestal. But if you lose, then everyone's going to your own fans will turn on you. That's the problem. And
yeah.
uh, you
That's
know,
the
uh,
problem.
I, like otherwise, like the season that Arsenal has had, even if they come second or if they don't win the Champions League final, there's no way Arteta would have got fired, right? But he might still because of the way they're playing the football. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
issue with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That
been a
is the
while, right?
problem.
Like he's been here 7, 8 years now,
And
also.
man,
Like,
Man City has been shit. If they
yeah,
like that Nottingham Forest game, that is absolute crap. Like you should not be drawing to Nottingham Forest like that at home. If City won that game, it'd still be a 2 point difference, right? Like
yeah, and
imagine,
that's what it is. How you let it slip when, like, and it's not the first time City let that slip. It's like the second
yeah.
time in the season that
So
you have come
City,
close to it,
yeah. But that's what
but
I'm
they have no
saying.
one
Like
to blame
City have been
except
so
the club.
terrible, but still they're like in and around. They should not be in a title race,
Yeah,
but they're in a
yeah,
title
yeah,
race. That is
yeah, yeah,
that is where probably Arsenal fans and these guys are becoming impatient because we should be blowing this league out of the water, like how Liverpool did last year. If you remember, they finished the league in
yeah,
February. It was
yeah,
done
yeah,
February, March. So
yeah.
that's what
Very
Arsenal
early.
fans are expecting. I mean, they can still win the league in the next couple of weeks, but not next couple of weeks, but it's going to take a bit of time. Like,
Yeah,
I still feel Arsenal will win Champions League. I'm not sure. I always felt that this route is easier, but for Arsenal, there could be a banana skin because in the past they have had these issues
yeah. Bodo Glimt
against
might
these
just
kind
come
of
and
teams.
win it. Bodo Glimt might just come and
Yeah,
win it.
that would be
We
amazing. The
never
icing on
know.
the
But
cake.
yeah,
Yeah.
right now, if we had to pick, I think PSG. I think like right now, maybe PSG looks very good right now in momentum. The last two games that they've played, then you could probably say Madrid because of their heritage. Madrid has been amazing. Then I'd probably say Arsenal over Barcelona. Also, it's very difficult. I think maybe Barcelona then Arsenal.
Yeah, Barcelona and us. Yeah, I just hope that we get like some banger games in the quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, because I just didn't like the route. And the thing is now, imagine Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, the other they're all in one.
But
They're all
yeah,
in one tier. Like whereas the other guys are in the
yeah,
only Arsenal and Barcelona are the top teams from there. But over here, they're all the big teams.
yeah,
PSG, Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these games will happen in that side of the draw, which I feel is a bit unfair. But
yeah, yeah.
as long as we get a good semifinals, finals, I'm okay with it.
I agree. I mean, here you got Atletico Madrid, you got Barcelona, you got Bodo Glimt, and you got Arsenal. This side, and then this side,
Yeah.
like you said, it'll be PSG, Madrid, Bayern, and Liverpool or Galatasaray.
Yeah, Liverpool as well, man. And Liverpool, just to touch on them, they lost to Galatasaray. I mean, Galatasaray, we know at home they're sensational. Their problem is away from home. Do you expect Liverpool to turn things around in Anfield?
I mean, that's a very like always special European nights bolte na Anfield mein, and they managed to do something great. They don't like again Liverpool also just don't look the same. Like there's heavy reliance on Ekitike, there's heavy reliance on Van Dijk nowadays also, right? Like their goals are coming from very weird places, and it just didn't look like the past Liverpool. Isak abhi tak hasn't shown us anything, right? He's also been injured. Words was doing well for them, but उन्हें भी injured हो गया था बीच में. Gakpo has been हो गया, like he was playing amazing in the first half. So they have issue, but yeah, again Liverpool are such a team that they will come up with some kind of a thing. I think the backup keeper to Allison, man, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's amazing, man. The guy kept them in the game against Galatasaray as well. Galatasaray could have scored 2 or 3, man, against Liverpool, but Liverpool again just getting lucky with getting away with one goal, one goal conceded. But on Anfield, in Anfield, maybe I think yeah they could come up with some kind of a thing. Maybe it could be Salah's like finally Salah does something crazy for them before he leaves.
Ye- Yeah, man, we'll see what happens. It's going to be intense week next week in the Champions League. We also have the Premier League coming up this weekend after
Yes.
a short break, and yeah, we'll enjoy these moments because after this, I think there's going to be a international break, so we need to make the most of
Yeah,
it
man. Most time.
this week or so. So we'll come back to you guys for the Premier League, and then we'll join you also next week for the Champions League. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you, Faiz,
Thank
as well.
you.
Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe button, and stay tuned to Chasing Trophies. Take care,
Thank
everybody.